hold on here. What is happening? Let's get that off. Let me get set up here. I'm never set up. It takes time, folks. It takes time. Got ours sitting there waiting. He's probably in the green room. I don't know, ours, you in the green room? Let me try and get something set up on my camera here. This is wrong. Face cam is all red and tinted. I like it though. I like it. Give me some more red tint, please. Ay, ay, ay. As we get back to this nonsense, screen room it is. Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's not get crazy. Sad tale of the Bretonians, another defeat. Another horrendous, brutal battle waged, only to see the brave knights trounced. A good trouncing. Let's figure out this camera here. Garbanzo. What is this about here? Let's see, today I'm going to be more of the flags. I gotta touch them up. So let's get a little base of flags here and put it down so I can focus this thing manually. Because we all know that autofocus sucks. Let's get that sweet spot right there. That good? Little sweet spot? Yeah, perfect. Okie dokie. How you guys doing? Just getting started here. Another 3-hour session planned. Got my cafe all set up and ready to rumble. Ready to go. Just got to grab some figures and put them down here in front of me. All that sort of nonsense. Nonsensual. Got the up divisor plugged in. Yeah. I got music in the background I need to mute so I don't get demonetized, because we all know that happens all the time. How you doing, Big Small? How you doing, my friend? I still have to go back and watch your video you just released. Did you see it, ours? The big battle report. Hold on a second here. Yeah, let's go grab ours and bring him in. If there's anything else I need to say. Not much. Weekend was pretty uneventful. Didn't do any gaming. Sat around and read some rules with Kyle. Jesse there, I think, was in the chat. My Sunday group. Yeah, we didn't do much. We're just reading some Pathfinder 1E stuff. I did some work on my Castles and Crusades. And some other things. Yeah, that's pretty much my weekend. I didn't do much. I tried to relax and take a break from all the stresses that have been happening for the past few weeks, right, Paul? What's going on? Holy smokes! But yeah, it was good. Good and relaxing. How about you, Paul? How's your weekend? How did you handle the weekend? Trying to think when I last streamed. Was it Saturday? I think I did Saturday. Let's go get ours, our good friend. Good weekend. Let me go get ours. I can remember how to do this thing, ours. Where are you? There you are. You're sitting in there. Let me get set up. Yada ta 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 ta. Hey, folks. There you go, ours. You're in.
Hello.
Ours. How you doing, my friend? When did we last speak? Was it Saturday?
No,
Friday?
no. It was
Friday.
some Friday. Yeah, it was Friday.
Friday. I'm trying to think if I even streamed on Saturday. I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Let's get
I would
this
see.
virtual cam. I think that's the wrong cam. Yes, it is. There we go. That should be good. So ours can see me over in Discord if he so chooses. Let's get this.
Yes, I can.
Excellent. Did you watch Paul's battle report he put out?
Not yet. I like to watch his reports when I'm going to paint some Warhammer because it sets me in the mood. For now, I'm painting Napoleonics, which are completely different. But I will watch it this week. For sure, because I can't wait to see some Skavens in action.
Crumbs, you have just started, but it is due to work tomorrow. Now my bedtime. Oh, Paul. All right, not to worry, though. I shall hope to catch you next time. Stupid time zones that. I have 10 minutes. 10 minutes for it's bedtime for Paul. Been painting as well up till now. A bit more progress on the ogres, touching up the bunch of primed models. The spray didn't do the trick. Had a good weekend. Walked 7 miles under the blue sky with my 2 boys. Field and woods, streams and farms, medieval churches and old estates. How marvelous was that, says Paul. New video got more hours viewing than any other. Like way more. Yeah? That's because it's a bat rep.
Good to hear.
Yeah, you built.
Good to hear, Paul.
It's like your narratives are like building up the anticipation to your regular viewers. But naturally, a battle report's going to get more views, I think, anyway. So you might get some new folks in there. That's good. Good, man. You deserve it. I was really proud of the last 10 minutes of the video. Oh, boy. I got to write that down and check out the last 10 minutes. Focus on the last 10 minutes. See what he's talking about. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good. How about you, Ars? How was your weekend?
Saturday, I went shopping and then played the game. And Sunday I played with my board games with my wife.
Nice. Little gaming going on. That's good. More than I did.
Yeah, we played the Battle of 5 Armies.
Nice.
And she defeated me.
Of course. She didn't let her win? Come on, Ars. Did you let her win?
No, I played the bad guys and they are way, way harder to win.
Yeah. Okay.
But I prefer to play the orcs.
What about your... Go ahead, finish.
The playing style is suits me more. The good guys have too many rules and side nodes.
Hmm.
You cannot concentrate on strategy with them.
Hmm. How about your battle with the Bretonians? Another loss.
Mm-hmm.
What's good? You're
Well,
on a losing streak lately. What's happening?
I suspect that I will lose that battle. Because, what can, like, 1,500 points of Bretonians and mostly peasants do against, like, 2,500 points of undead with strong magic, and Bretonians didn't have any magic on their own.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a rough way to start it off.
So the undead finish the battle with more units on the table than when they started.
Mm-hmm.
The only good thing is that I killed a couple of graveguards, which he cannot resurrect. These are the losses he cannot replace easily.
Mm-hmm.
And the city is lost, and the Bretonians now will wander around the border princes, looking for someone to help them in their vengeance against the undead. The good thing for them is that they don't have to look far away for potential ally.
Yeah. That's the nature of a campaign, though. You're gonna get those lopsided battles,
Mm-hmm.
or uneven battles, rather. That's what makes it fun, though.
Yeah. And I don't care because I'm a game master, so these are just NPC armies I command. And of course, I'm not trying to make them easier for the players, but I'm not sad because I lost. I have way more armies to play with.
I used to do that with our Mordheim campaign. We had NPC factions, non-player controlled, as I like to refer to them as. Yeah, we used them the same kind of way. It was, I don't remember the details, but it wasn't so much driven by a narrative as it was like, okay, your faction is here. There's only so many players. Every once in a while, you're going to have to take on an NPC faction and all this other kind of nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
We did that for a while just to fill it in and give folks an opportunity to play something other than their normal faction. So it gives them a little change of pace for them to keep the campaign interesting for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember doing that. Our Warhammer campaign we did was called Thunder Isle. It was all based on this island to the west of the main continent. To the west of Ulthuan, even. It was this just island. It was called Thunder Isle. That's what it was called because there was the sound of battle and the clash of battle constantly echoing from the island. So it became known as the Thunder Isle. And a lot of exploring and stuff, a lot of mysteries that were on the island. And all the players, controlled explorers to this island and would engage in some battle. This is back in 5th edition, I think.
Mhm.
When they introduced in the rule book, they had all kinds of ways to play campaigns, and one of them was this. Well, it's basically the type of campaign we played, where you start off with like I don't know how many points you started with 1,500 or something, and then as you played
Ah,
battles, units gained experience, characters gained upgrades, you gained more
mhm.
points to add to your army, which was really cool. Kind of like a Mordheim type of thing. And that's the way we played him. That lasted quite a while. And we had a lot of good fun with it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think that was fifth edition. The one that introduced the Bretonians.
Yeah, it was
5th edition.
4th or 5th. Yeah.
4th would be the first box set. 5th would be the Bretonians and Lizardmen.
And Lizardman, yeah. 5th.
That's what it was. It was the 5th edition. Played a lot of 5th edition. Not so much 6th, but I had it. I must have been doing other things, but we didn't play as much of that. And what do you play? Your thing is 6th edition now, right?
Yeah, yeah. My campaign is 6th.
Yeah, I gotta
I
play more
started
6th
at
then.
the end of 6th edition and played through 7th and 8th. And 3rd later on.
I never played 7th, but I did invest in 8th edition and played a few games. I enjoyed the whole thing. What is your take on 7th edition? Because I never played that. Never had it.
The core rules are very, very similar to the 6th. There is a couple of tweaks that, for example, in Saint Courage, when you roll a double 1, then no matter of what modifications you have, the unit holds. In 6th edition, if your modifications for leadership drops below 2, then you cannot pass the leadership check and you auto-breaking. So that's nice. No big revolution in the rules, but the army books destroyed everything. The 7th edition is the edition where armies became more and more powerful. Each subsequent army is more powerful than the previous one. So yeah, that was tough playing 7th edition. The High Elves received, I think in 7th edition, the High Elves got their always strike first rule. Yeah, and cavalry was a king of the battlefield.
Interesting.
8th edition, again, the core rules were really good. I really liked the huge infantry blocks and stuff, but it became less tactical because you had less units on the table, because units were so big. You had like one unit of 40, 50 guys, then a couple of small units for flanking. And that's all. 6th edition just was, for me, better in that way that you had multiple units and it was much more tactical game. And again, in 8th edition, rule books were broken. Especially the elven ones.
Of course.
Yeah, because in 8th edition, the elves, all the elves, not only high elves, dark elves and wood elves too, they had the rule that they don't only always strike first, but if their initiative is higher than their opponents, which always is, they reroll all their misses. So you had a unit of
Wow.
50 elven spearmen with 50 attacks because of horde formation and elven drilled rule. So 50 spearmen is 50 spearmen is 50 attacks.
Wow.
And they roll 50 dice, and all of the misses they usually hit on 3+. And all ones and twos are rerolled. So with 50 dice, it's like 40 hits or something like that. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Yikes.
Mm.
Yeah, that's my experience with the game overall. All the years I've played, and that includes 40k too. It's usually the case that the core rules, the base rules, the rules of the game that you get in the beginning, awesome. Their work, they're pretty solid, you know. And as soon as they start releasing the damn books specific to each army, that's usually when things start to get wonky. And how they can do this, I don't know. But the army books have always been that way. You know what I'm talking about. It's the reason why there's this power creep that hits the game system, and it's eternal, it seems, with Games Workshop. Because of the damn books, and they keep releasing them and changing things and trying to balance from the previous, and it just gets wonky.
Yeah. The only edition I think doesn't have this problem is 6th. Well, maybe also the 5th, but I don't like 5th because it's Hero Hammer. In 6th edition, the heroes really are not so powerful. Basically, you can deal with them with there are many ways you can deal with heroes. So they are a nuisance, not a deal breaker, game breaker. And the army books are pretty similar on their power level. Of course, there are stronger armies and stuff, but each army has a weakness. And there is always a way to exploit that weakness. In my opinion, at least. Although, when I play my campaign and I see what my high elf player does, I'm starting to suspect that the high elves were broken even in 6th edition.
Yeah. So what do you do in that case when you get to that point? Are you going to house rule things and keep playing, or is it just going to be so frustrating? Why bother? Move on to another game. At this stage, what would you do?
Well, no, I just accept. At this point, I accept Warhammer as it is. I had a period when I wanted to house rule everything and change stuff in Warhammer, but that's long gone. I accept it as it is. The funny thing is, I don't particularly like the rules for Warhammer. I think the rules are bad. But I love the world. I love all the races, the history of the old world and stuff. And that's why I keep playing. But usually, a couple of weeks ago, I played basically a Warhammer game with Midgard rules. And that's amazing. I think this campaign I'm playing will be the only opportunity for me to play pure Warhammer, because all of my standalone games set in the old world, I'm going to play with the Midgard. These are just much better rules, and you can easily recreate every Warhammer army in Midgard.
I remember playing. I was at that same stage, and it was when we were playing. Was it 3rd edition 40k? It was around the time Necromunda was first released. I think it was 3rd edition 40k. But that game had left so many questions for us whenever we played. There was an official FAQ, there was an unofficial FAQ, errata. And we used to print these out, and there were just stacks of papers for the game. And this includes Necromunda as well, just stacks of stuff. And that I'd collect. I eventually started making my own, a house rules thing for our group. And that became huge. I mean, all the stuff was in a binder. And I was doing a lot of house ruling, and I started to despise the whole idea of this house rule thing because it was just so much. And it just felt like, man, are we even playing 40k? I mean, what is happening here? This is crazy. And I still have all those printouts and stuff that we had. And I look back on them as, geez, this is ridiculous. This is crazy. How did we play? We had rules. Like in Necromunda, whenever you climbed something, you had to be able to move in such a way with the model to get to the top. You can't end halfway up a wallway. Like if the wall was 8 inches and you can only move 4, you can't move halfway up. So you can't move up the wall. I had a rule that allowed you to go basically in between and rest there, because if you remember Necromunda, the walkways, they had these plastic walkways that cardboard would insert into, so you'd get both horizontal walkways, you'd get little walls that were vertical, and you plug the cardboard walls and walkways into these plastic bulkheads essentially. And these bulkheads were about 4 inches high. So you could click them together and create an 8-inch high or a 12-inch high, rise in the ground. That's why people would have the question, how do I climb up this thing that's greater than 8 inches or something? How do I do that? Well, when you slide these plastic bulkheads together, there's a nice convenient little gap on both sides of the bulkhead. One you would plug in the terrain. The other side, maybe there was nothing there. But this is where it would be cool. What I did is I took little pieces of cardboard and I would plug them into that little gap between the bulkheads and then place a figure on top of it. So he would actually be climbing up, and his figure would remain there. So you could measure range and line of sight to that position. That was a house rule we come up with, which is brilliant. It worked perfectly. And that was pretty cool. But things like that. And I don't know, it was a good time, but it was very, very much like, geez, can't we just play the rules as written and leave it go? I don't know. It was pretty challenging, to be honest with you. The nature of the game.
At this moment I feel like I just want to play games. I'm a little bit tired of testing and writing my own rules and doing everything from scratch. That's a I just want to play a couple of games and don't think about changing anything in the rules.
Yeah.
Just to enjoy the game.
That's where I'm at. For sure.
That's why for like 2 months now I didn't touch my medieval rules.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have some work to do on them, but I just want to play some games.
Yep. That's me. That's exactly me. I gave up on that rule writing and just all this effort. I don't want to do that. I just want to play the damn games, enjoy the hobby, and let it go at that. I mean, that's where I'm at, and I've been at that stage probably for a decade now. It's much better.
For me, I know it's temporarily. I will go back to writing because there are so many things in many rules I just can't stand. There are no good medieval rules for me, for example, so I have to finish my own. But, for example, Napoleonics, yes, we developed in our club the rules for small-scale Napoleonic battles. I mean, brigade level, when you have one brigade per side. I think that's the maximum level you can use our rules to. But I just prefer to play General de Brigade.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For good reason. It's a good game.
Hmm?
Tactical. Yes, Walter, I hear you.
Walter.
Just fed him and he's still squawking.
Okay, so which regiment I should paint? I think I need your help, Fritz.
Oh no. What's up?
I sent you here on Discord in private message a link to a site with Austrian cavalry. There are examples of uniforms, and first you have Uhlans, and then you have Hussars. And I don't know which of the basically 2 regiments of Hussars I should paint.
You want me to pick for you?
Help me decide.
Okay, let me have a look see here. Let me finish this last flag.
Okay.
And we'll take a gander. See what aesthetically is pleasing to me.
The problem is the regiments I can choose. They are all pretty similar. Well, these are not the most colorful Hussar uniforms,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Okay.
That's why I have a problem.
Let me take a look.
The choice is between the 1st Kaiser Regiment and the 12th Palatinal Regiment. Which is basically the first and the last in the Hussar section.
First and the last?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. You want to look at the Hussar first? Jeez, there's a lot in here.
Yeah.
All right, what's the Hussar ones you're looking at?
The first, the Hussar Regiment number 1 Kaiser Franz. The dark blue. And the last, the Hussar Regiment number 12, the grayish blue. Which one do you like most?
And then the last one? Grayish blue. Well, there's a lot of reasons to go with either one, color-wise, aesthetically.
Mm-hmm.
Plumes are all the same. Jackets kind of got that yellow and dark blue, or the yellow and I think that's yellow and gold, kind of a grayish blue. Is that what I'm looking at here?
Basically, the 1st regiment has very similar uniform to the 11th, so you can see the 2 last Hussar regiments, and the 11th has the same uniform as the 1st, and the 12th is this grayish blue.
Kaiser Franz. I like it. Franz. I think I would go for that. Although I want to lean towards the other one because it's got a lighter shade to it. I always like units that really are different. You know, maybe they got pink coats or something. I'd actually like the pink coats. Sometimes those odd colors really contrast well with the army and really kind of speak to the period, really, because you see things like that. Even just brown coats on the Hussar units are interesting. I painted some, I think it was some French. They had I did a Hussar regiment that had brown coats, and I don't
Yeah,
paint
there
that
was
too
one.
often, and it looked great. They really look awesome. Just brown basic coats, but it looks so good in the end.
Yeah, if I could have total freedom in choosing the regiment, I would go with the 8 or 9, the green jackets and red pants, or dark green and dark red. I like these uniforms, but unfortunately I decided I will paint the units that were in the campaign of 1809 in Duchy of Warsaw, and the most boring regiments were there, so I have to choose between dark blue and gray blue.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I kind of like the gray blue for the reason I just said, but The dark blue is kind of like, that's always a good masculine, powerful look to it. And it's contrasts well with the yellow, with the yellowish gold there braiding.
Mm-hmm.
Much better than the grayish blue does. So I'd probably say the first regiment, the Kaiser Franz.
Okay, Kaiser. Okay. Then there will be Kaiser Hussars.
King Franz.
Mm-hmm.
Emperor's Hussar. Boop, 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 boop. Let me take care of this cat. This beast. Let's get back here. How you doing, Jeff? Brown. Egyptian blue pants. Alright, these flags are done. So that batch is finished. Yeah. Almost. I gotta paint the little points in the banner poles. Let's do the next batch here. Some of these are already done.
So thank you, Fritz, for your help.
You're welcome, man. Make me a non-commissioned officer in the regiment there. Paint a little guy that looks like me. I need a shave. He's got a white beard.
Okay.
Put me in there. Maybe he's got spectacles on.
Unfortunately,
Yeah, that'd be a
Paris
tough one.
didn't make Hussars with spectacles.
Call him Fritz. Count Fritz. Russian. How you doing, Jeff? How is everything? Down there in sunny Florida. This time I'm going to start off with the white. So I got some white paint out.
After these Hussars, I will make a little break for some fantasy stuff. Then I will go back to Napoleonics because today I received a package with 3 boxes of Paris Duchy of Warsaw infantry and Prince Poniatowski with
Excellent.
leading the charge at Russian with pipe in his mouth.
Nice. Oh, that's going to be fun.
I was lucky because I saw on a Facebook group, Polish Facebook group, someone was selling the set of three boxes of Polish infantry together with this special figure of Prince Poniatowski on foot for like 2/3 of the price I would pay if I would like to order this from Paris. And ordering from Paris was the only way to get those miniature of Prince Poniatowski. So it was really good deal.
Yeah, it is. Good. It should be great. Whites, yes. So I missed the episode of the Musty War Gamers. I have no idea what they were talking about, so I missed it.
Hmm.
Do you watch them now and then? Or no?
No, I don't think so.
Musty War Gamers.
I think I watched one or two battle reports on their site. They had one with Dan's Bretonia.
Yeah.
I watched that, but I don't think I ever seen their live session.
They do a lot of old Hammer stuff, as you know.
Mm-hmm. My favorite old Hammer YouTuber put a video. I saw that video and I instantly thought about you.
Yeah.
Because he put a video about a little history of wargaming and why he thinks streamlining and simplifying the rules is not good. And he did it at the example of Wargames research group, like 1980s rules and DBA.
Yeah.
And of course, DBA was the simplified version.
Yep.
Maximodus.
Yeah, it was definitely different. Fast
I'll send it
play.
to you. Yeah. I'll send it to you. You could watch it on have time. But yeah, I saw that video and I instantly thought about you because I know you like DBA.
Yeah, I do, but I don't. It's not like it's not one of my favorite games
Mm-hmm.
because it's very abstract and
Mm-hmm.
I guess the simplest. I don't want to say simple because it uses the same mechanics as say DBMM, which some might say is simple, but there's so much more in DBMM that it doesn't. It's definitely not a simple game, just because of the amount of information there, which I prefer that more.
Mm-hmm.
Not a huge fan of simplistic games or even streamlined. I was talking to some folks about Pathfinder 2 compared to Pathfinder 1
Mm-hmm.
and 3.5 in general, D&D 3.5. And Pathfinder 2 basically streamlines everything that is in Pathfinder 1 to the point where, oh my gosh, this game does play considerably faster, especially combat. So kudos to that. But because it's streamlined, a lot of that granular stuff that I enjoyed with first edition or D&D 3rd or 3.5 is kind of built into the system now. It's no longer part of it. It just feels like a totally different game. It
Mm-hmm.
really does. And after playing Pathfinder 2 for 4 to 5 years, I've come to the conclusion that I'm not fond of this. This is a different experience. Streamlined, a little bit faster, yeah. But going back to the first edition stuff now, I really miss it. It's like, wait a minute, this is what I like. I like the floating modifiers. That's okay. I can deal with that. I like the more detailed take on things. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy. So, yeah, I've gone back to earlier editions because of that. I'm just not a fan of the losing all that detail that I like.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's streamlined for faster play, but faster play doesn't necessarily mean it's a better game. Why is
Yeah.
faster always the way we go to make a better game? Really? Faster? That's the problem
Mm-hmm.
with games? They need to be fast? Anyway.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think the same. The General d'Armée, for example, and General de Brigade. General d'Armée is simplified, streamlined version of General de Brigade.
Yeah.
And when I played it, I saw many mechanics in the game that are there just to make it go faster.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any historical reason to be in it other than to shorten the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and still, I played a couple of General de Brigade games recently, and they are not slow. If you know the rules, if you read them and your opponent knows the rules, and you are focused on playing the game, you can play a divisional level game in like 3 to 4 hours, maybe 5. Of course, if you want to play a huge co-op level game, it will take significantly longer, and with General d'Armée, you probably could make a co-op level game a couple of hours shorter than in General de Brigade. But is it worth it? I mean, I'm in the position where I don't have to finish my games in one evening.
Yeah.
I can set them on the table, play a couple of hours, leave them, and go back next week to finish the game, or next day, or anytime I want. So I don't need streamlined and faster games.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. Because
Yeah,
I play a
you
lot of
took.
solo, so yeah, I can
Hmm.
do that.
Yeah, you can leave everything on the table, go to sleep, wake up next morning, and finish the game, or play a couple of turns and do it every day for a week or so, and you just there is no hurry in playing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it necessarily makes a better game. Faster game, okay, but that doesn't mean better, really.
Yeah,
I mean, but it has its place because a lot of people are, time is a commodity, as we always say, and it's limited. And people want to get a game finished within a couple hours or something. All right, yeah, it makes sense.
yeah.
But I'm glad we have options. I'll tell you that. If everything
Hmm.
was streamlined and simple and fast, this hobby would suck.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's my thought, anyway.
Yeah, and I completely agree.
It's like another example would be Flames of War, third edition, which I played a lot of. I enjoyed. Big giant book, all kinds of little details and interesting tidbits to it. Pretty good game,
Hmm.
although it's not a long game to begin with, but a lot more detail.
Hmm.
Fourth edition came out, and again, it was all about streamlining, faster gameplay,
Hmm.
smaller numbers to deal with, and yeah, they took a lot of the fun things out of it that I enjoyed, like making skill tests to enter buildings. Period. That's gone. Now you just move into buildings. It's a simple little thing, but for streamlining's sake, they took that away. You don't need to do that anymore. Just one less die roll to make in the game. And other things. But again, for the sake of streamlining things, I get it. But I'd go back. I actually want to go back and play first or second and third editions again because of that. Just
Yeah, and with the game with Fire and Sword, which is Polish
yeah,
17th century 15 mil game. The new edition, the second edition that came out, is really completely different game.
is it really?
It's not streamlined. It's completely different. It's much simpler. Not much mechanics from the original game was left. And my friend asked me if he paints two armies, because he have a couple of armies just unpainted. If he paints two armies, will I play with him first edition of the game? Because he played the second one and he don't like it. It's too simple. It doesn't have the depth that the first edition had.
Huh.
And I said, yeah, of course. I really like first edition. Many solutions from the first edition are in my medieval rules because I just think they are great. They are absent in the second edition. So yeah, if I only don't have to paint 15mm miniatures, then I can play it.
Doesn't that seem to be the case most of the time when
Yeah.
a new edition of a game comes out? Everybody gets excited and everything. But isn't it almost always the case where it's all about streamlining? It's more streamlined, more simple, and easier to get into. That seems to be the case for a lot of second or third editions or whatever. It's like they're
Yes, it is.
always trying to quicken the pace and the simplicity of the game.
Yes, it is. Even with General Darme. General Darme was streamlined version of General Duplicate. General Darme 2 is even more streamlined and simplified than the General Darme. I liked General Darme. The first edition was nice for me.
Yeah.
And I played a couple of times with the second edition, and it's, in my opinion, I have strong opinions, so maybe I will restrict myself from saying, but I didn't enjoy it.
You do. Everybody stand back and gird the loins. Yeah. I get it. I get it.
The basic mechanics change because now you don't have modifications for rolls. You just have rerolls. For example, you roll a couple of dice, and because you are veteran, you can reroll one of them and stuff. It's again simplifying. You don't have to look at the table. And it takes so many time to look at the table that it clearly saves your time. You will finish a game 15 minutes earlier. You won't be late on your bus.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the answer? What do? Do you stop playing the game, or but you like it so much you go back to playing the original version?
Well, first of all, if I don't like the game, I don't play it. So if I don't like certain edition of the game, but I like the previous one, then I will play the previous one. That's, for example, the case with Warhammer.
Yeah.
I don't like the old world. I'm stick with 6th edition.
Yep. Perfect example. Gotta make a stand, folks. Gotta make a stand.
We had a discussion in our club about the editions of the games and streamlining and stuff, and the conclusion was that basically beyond 3rd edition, every next edition of the game is just streamlining. It's not upgrading, it's streamlining and making the game simpler, and in many occasions worse than the first 2 or 3 editions. Because the first edition will always have some issues. It's the first edition. It was or was not tested well, but there is always something that will come up only when you release the game to the public and many people will start playing it, and they will find some issues. So that's the case with the first edition. Second edition mostly gets rid of these issues, and if there are any, the third edition definitely is the best, because it gets rid of all known issues from the previous 2 editions, but it's not yet streamlined. General de Brigade. I played the second edition deluxe, which is basically the third edition of the game, and it's the best.
That's the one I got. Jeff says, one less die roll in Flames of War isn't much of a savings. I liked third edition. After the second and third editions, selling more books is the motivation, I think. Well, that's understandable. I don't mind that because it's their businesses. More nice pictures to look at, or more options for the game. Nothing wrong with that. Keeps the game alive. Because think about it. If you just made a set of rules, here's my set of rules. It's got some nice pictures in it. It's got rules for everything. Everything's handled great. It's realistic. Plays decently quick. And then put it out. 10 years later, everything that's in that book is what we would call dated. I mean, yeah, it's playable, it's great, but by today's comparison, it's kind of like dated, and there's not many people going to be interested in that. It's just natural. So what you do is you keep it alive, and that's what new editions are supposed to do. That updates, improves the game, keep it alive and interesting. So I'm all for that. I don't mind it. It's just that there's a problem, like me and ours have been talking here. Why are they simplifying things? Why is that part of the improvement process, the streamlining nonsense? Make a better game overall. And I don't think making it faster is really improving the game. And there's examples all over the place of that. Flames of War 4th edition, or Fire and Fear, whatever that game.
Sword.
Yeah.
By Fire and Sword.
By Fire and Sword. That's a perfect example. They changed the game. It's a totally different experience now. I don't know. 40K, Warhammer, same situation. They keep their game pretty much the same. I think Warhammer anyway. But they change it in a way that just does make it a different experience. How you doing, James? James, ka-ching! Making his appearance. Another pillar of the community. Why is that not showing up? How you doing, James?
Hi, James.
I didn't mean that as a negative, says Jeff. I get you. I know what you're saying. To be fair to... Go ahead.
Go on.
You're the guest. You speak first.
Okay. I found, for example, interesting thing that the new additions and new rules are connected to, like we said before, it's a business model. You have to earn money, so you update the rules, make new additions to sell more books and stuff. But recently I remembered that there is a publisher which doesn't make many new editions, which he operates in the manner I said. So he made first edition, it lasted a couple of years, then he improved it and made second edition, and that was 15 years ago, and the second edition is still available. And basically that's what I understand, that's the club that creates the rules and then publishes it, and it's League of Augsburg. They have like 2 editions of Republic to Empire. There is a 3rd edition of Beneath Lily Banners now. And these are rules that were created like 20 something years ago.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan.
I had the rulebook for Republic to Empire. That was the first Napoleonic rulebook I had.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know. I had to give it to someone to read, and he never gave it back to me because I lost it. I don't have it anymore. And I remember it was very nice book.
Mhm.
The first book I had for Napoleonics with all of these images and stuff. Yeah, but I never played the rules.
Now that's interesting because, well, I don't know about his Napoleonic rules, but his Beneath the Lily Banners, they've actually gone through some major changes in mechanics that
Mm-hmm.
almost create a brand new game. And the current edition, yeah, the current edition uses a totally different system. But I think it's an improvement. I think it's a better game overall. So the thing
Mm-hmm.
about him, I can't think of his name. Uh, I can't think of his name, but he's a really nice guy. And this guy is an example of somebody, in my opinion, example of somebody in this hobby that really has a passion for what interests him in this hobby. So much so that it's like everything he creates is like a labor of love almost. Now, that
Mm-hmm.
said, he does run the business, him and his American friend. They are League of Oxburg, really. And they have a nice business. I've talked to the guy. I said,
Barry Hilton.
yeah, Barry Hilton. I've talked to the guy many times and said, I can help you promote some of this stuff, on my channel and so on and so forth. And I've talked with him quite a bit, actually. But he's not really about that. He really isn't. And if you look at his
Mm-hmm.
own channel on YouTube, he does some really good stuff. I mean, the pictures and videos and the descriptions of the battles, just great work. And I'm a
Mm-hmm.
huge fan of what he does. And like you said, his rules have been around forever. And then every once in a while, you'll see a new edition.
Yeah, and that's how I thought. That's just the game by the gamers for the gamers.
Yeah, that's what I get from it. He really does love what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And with something like Battlefront and Flames of War, you kind of get the sense, yeah, these guys are they're into the hobby, they're gamers, but there's a detachment. It feels like because it's so commercialized and there's so
Yeah.
much focus on the end product, it just feels over commercialized by comparison.
Mm-hmm.
And you can appreciate what Battlefront does, and it's great, but I really love what Lily Banners is all about, and General de Brigade, same kind of situation. Guys passionate about the game and the period, and it's reflected in it. Hasn't been a new version in years. Uh, there is a difference.
Yeah. And I think when I looked at what happened in wargaming hobby recently, I feared that this approach to the hobby, to creating the stuff for the hobby, be it the rules or the miniatures, it's how to say it, it's getting, everything is much more commercialized and it's much more business, and those small companies that are made by the gamers for the gamers, they are disappearing slowly.
Yeah.
And one of the things is because many of these companies and many of these authors, they exist for a long time, and many of them are quite aged, let's
Yeah.
say, and there's no one uh, to take their companies from them and to continue their work.
Yeah.
look for what happened with front rank miniatures, what happened to Calpe miniatures. It's very good that these lines still exist because Gripping Beast bought them.
Yep.
So that's great, but Gripping Beast is growing as the new big company on the market. So yeah, these are no longer the companies run by a single family. It's Gripping Beast now.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that these lines of miniatures still exist because I love front rank. These were my first Napoleonic poles, and these are joy to paint. I really like them. But you know, the original owner is he sold this business to Gripping Beast and retired from making miniatures and running the company.
Yeah. So they're still around.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing new. It's still alive, though.
Yeah.
Flames of War is really good game, but requires the right individuals to play it as such. The players are what makes... Well, that's true with any game. Finding your Roman public James posted 19th century rulebook. Doug says, I posted a pic of the 19th century rulebook I got on the Tabletop Commander's website. I'll take a look, Doug. Not sure what you mean. 19th century rulebook. Is it a game company, or are you literally talking about a period of time? You got some Kriegspiel in there? What are you talking? What's going on here,
Where
Doug?
you posted it, Doug?
Tabletop Commanders.
Oh.
He's got something going on there. Are you looking?
Mm-hmm. Grande Bataille, Grande Victoire. European Land Warfare from 1853 to 1871 by J.W. Brown.
So what is it? Just a set of rules that covers the 19th century? Is that what he means?
Yeah.
All right. I'll take a look. Let's see what ours has to say about it. Does it look pretty good?
It looked old school.
Yeah, that's what I like. Old school's good.
There's no school over the old school.
these are done. Black. Yes. Okay, all the black is done. Appreciate that, James. Let's put this back down here. Sneak. And let's go take a look at this set of rules. What is this? Oh, uniforms.
Yeah, that's
Facebook.
what I sent you. Let me choose my Hussar regiment.
Make this bigger. Tabletop commanders. Remove this. I don't see it, Doug. Let me refresh the
You
page.
should look for his posts and from the newest ones. I think these 2 pages. Oh, here it is.
Here's a set of rules I once had but lost during a chaotic time in my life. Thrown in as part of a recent order. We'll take a look at them now. Grand Bataille. This is Napoleonic, no.
No, it's later.
1853 to 1871. Wow, good old black and white. Absinthe Press. That sounds familiar to me. Oh, look at this. OP? QP? OP? What is that? Some kind of rating. Skirmish capability, skirmish distance? No. Typical number of castings. Castings! This is definitely old school. Per unit. 12 to 16. Alright. Russians as player A, allies as player B. Module sheets and troop listings. 4 inches, 2 inches, 6 inches. Yeah, it looks old school for sure. Well, there you go. I do that sometimes. If I see some old set of rules that I really liked for whatever reason is no longer in my collection, I will buy it. An example being Yellow Ribbon. Rules for the Plains Indian Wars. There used to be a really good game. I don't think I could ever find it again. It was called Lancers and Lewis Guns. Nobody remembers this. Nobody. I guarantee it. Lancers and Lewis Guns. A big, fat, staple-bound book. Cardboard covers, you know, the old school stuff. Not one picture in the whole freaking book. And it was thick. It was like 150, maybe 200 pages. But, yeah, I had some rules questions, so I called the author on the phone. Remember those? The old dial-up phones? And we'd sit there for hours talking about his game, Lancers and Lewis guns. That would be one I'd buy again. It's very cool. Covered everything from, I think the 1700s all the way up through the 1900s. So it covered a lot of ground. Well, not, I think maybe pre-World War I. So it covered a lot. 18th and 19th centuries for sure. Plains Indian Wars, Victorian stuff, all the big names like Napoleonics, American Civil War, Frederick the Grossen, the Marlburian stuff. All that. Guy lived down in Florida, I think. Back in the days of Modeler's Mart. Remember Modeler's Mart? You guys remember Modeler's Mart. Modeler's Mart, which was a big retail place based in Florida. It's where everybody went to get their miniatures and their rules, their imports from the UK, whatever. But they also became a publisher of rules. So there was a lot of sets of rules, locally published and otherwise, that were available from them. Lancers and Lewis guns was one of them. The good old days. My copy got destroyed in the fire.
Hmm.
Alright, let's get that off here. I wanted to post more pics. Copyright?
I found one
What'd you find?
for 34 euros.
What'd you find?
Lancers and Lewis guns.
No kidding. Send me the link. No kidding. Nah. Really?
Yep. Link. Sent.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Noble Knight Games.
Lancers and look. Yeah, they might have it. Yeah. You click on the link and not the picture. That's it. You found it. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Let me put that up for folks to see. Wow. There it is, folks. Noble Knight Games. Thanks, ours.
You're welcome.
Lancers and Lewis Guns by E.C. Page for miniature figure gaming with either 25 or 15 millimeter in 100 to 1, 50 to 1, 25 to 1, or 10 to 1 scale. Men per miniature. From the French and Indian War to pre-World War I colonials. How many pages? 140 pages. So I had a good description there. I was pretty spot on. Soft cover. Publisher was Modeler's Mart. Boy, I was more than spot on. Yeah.
1988. This book is as old as me.
1988. $34.46. Well, euro. Which is about 34 bucks. Oh, here's this one too. I had this. Rudy Nelson. Or I used to refer to him as Ruddy Nelson. Wow. Boy, they got a lot. Oh, I had this too. Combat Commander. I'm going to sign up to Noble Knight. You guys are always talking about this site. Maybe I could look up.
Yeah, they have some old school stuff.
Enola Games. Boy, I remember them. They were like one of the first companies, publishers, that I bought rules for, getting into this hobby. I had these at...
They are from USA.
They're what?
They are from United States.
Yeah.
But why there is a price in Euro? Maybe based on my location.
Could be. Huh. Well, thanks for finding that.
You're welcome.
It was a pretty cool game, Lance and Lewis Guns. Your army, or whatever size it represented, had a headquarters base. And I don't think it moved. It was just this, back of the board, well out of danger. But there was a headquarters base. And I think there was messengers and stuff involved. And of course, your officers that are leading from the front were moving around like you typically see. But there was this headquarters thing, which was kind of fun. I didn't see many rules doing things like that. That was cool. Yeah. Only one left in stock. Of course. Of course. There you go. Well, oftentimes with rules like that, what they're giving you is they're giving you a system, right? They're giving you a system of an era where warfare was generally very similar, systematic, as it were. And with adjustments for periods, you can reflect the period. That's not everybody's style. A lot of people like flavor and stuff for the era that they're doing. A lot of people like that. There's a lot of people who don't really mind. But that's the whole idea with things like that. I never minded it. I was a big fan of Wargame Research Group rules, and those rules cover a lot of conflicts within one thing. And they did it really well, I thought. I've never had a problem. As long as the system is fun and capable of handling all this, at least in my mind's eye, why not? It depends what everybody's looking for, though, I guess. Similar to black powder. Yeah. The problem with black powder, I think it's done really well, actually. It's like a toolkit. They give you all these little special rules that you can apply to various periods to get that feel for it. But I think one of the biggest problems with black powder is that it's just the rules are... A lot of people just don't like them as a system.
Yeah.
Lack of control of your army. You got whole brigades that sit there and do nothing. Or whatever command level
they are
it is.
just random.
A lot of random feel to it. So that's a system thing more than anything. But I liked how it worked as a toolkit, and you can change things and, taking these little abilities and adding them to the units to represent things like elite grenadiers and stuff. That's cool. And you can make your own, But I don't know. I enjoyed black powder, honestly. But, not my true game of choice. Horsefoot and Guns. The only time I read and played that was back when he first come up with it. I had like a playtest thing. I didn't like it too much. It was too high up in the scale department. Army lists were very much focused on particular campaigns. I wasn't interested in that. So I never really followed it. Okay. Nordic, laying it on the line. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. Everybody has the opinion.
You know mine, so I won't repeat myself.
I know all about it. Some people, they don't mind that. Other people, they do mind that. They want that detail. They want that feel. Like ours, Nordic. I'm sure he feels the same way. Me, I'm okay. I would enjoy playing Black Powder as if for what it is, you know? But it probably wouldn't be something I'd play all the time. Like I said, I've played numerous games. Very few games have I ever played that I didn't enjoy to some level. In the end of the day, they're all just games. Try to find some positive, fun aspect to them. But yeah, I'm sure there's rules that really do suck. Suck the life out of you. They're too boring or whatever. I haven't encountered too many.
Do you ever experience it something like you read the rules and you thought, hell no, I won't play this.
Yeah.
This is awful. I don't want to play this game. I don't want to even try it. Have you ever experienced something like this?
Yeah. Yeah, I've that happened a couple games. One was Napoleon. Well, both were Napoleonic. One was by Ganesha Games. I don't remember if I sat down. I think I did sit down and actually play a few turns. Did not like this game. No high hopes. Didn't like the way the units moved and reacted to one another. Just not my style. Not that it was a bad game, but there's one more better that really fits the bill of what you described. And it's a classic game. So many people love this game. It's a classic. Napoleonic. It's Napoleon's Battles. I got the latest version of the game. I had the original. Never really read it too deep. I was younger. I was kind of naive. But I got the latest version of it like a few years ago to add to my collection. Napoleon's Battle, hardback book. You know, this is the current version of this classic game, originally published by Avalon Hill. And I read it, and as soon as it got to the part about close combat, where in order to shoot at somebody, you have to be in base contact. There was no ranges, nothing like that. Your brigades have to be touching. And there is a shooting phase where you actually roll dice and resolve this close contact combat, which represents shooting. Totally turned me off. I said, you know what? This sucks. I want ranges. I want more than that. That's terrible. On top of the fact that they're brigades, it just didn't feel right to me. There was a lot of things. That was the one that really slapped me in the face. So I decided, okay, add it to the collection. I'll never play this. So I never even gave it a chance. Not my style of game. So that's one. Just overall, I felt like it wasn't my style. Too high a level of command. I want to represent battalions. I don't want to represent brigades. Even though there's formations. I didn't want it. I wanted ranges to the musketry. I didn't want to have to just be in contact and then you resolve shooting. And I think melee contact was a separate phase as well. So they had separate combat things to represent different types of combat, even though they're physically in contact with each other. I don't know. How about you, Ars?
Well, I had a situation like this quite recently with Balance Wars. I read the rules and I thought, well, I think I don't understand the author because he repeats over and over again that he wants to create a historically accurate set of rules for medieval skirmishes, yet the mechanics he chose to achieve that goal are so abstract and weird and just they don't feel right. And after reading that rules, I had to play the game. I spoke with my friend. We had to set up the game. That's why I read the rules. And after reading the rules, I called my friend and said, "You know what? I just wrote a medieval skirmish in like 2 hours, and I think it's better than Baron's Walls. Let's play it."
Wow.
I said, "Okay," and yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, there you go. Now you said Baron's War.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Wow.
know Nick plays it. I saw it on his channel, but I don't know, I cannot force myself. Later I saw a game on a convention, and I don't know if it was presented by one of the Polish saga gamers. And in my opinion, if you want to show someone a game and if you want him to like it, you should show this game with painted miniatures. Especially if it's one of the greatest conventions in your country. But, you know, he showed it with unpainted miniatures and that didn't improve my view. But I watched for some turns the game and still I think there is something wrong with it.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe there is. Baron's War.
Yeah.
I didn't like. I think it would be fun to try out and play. I'm up in the air about it. There's some mechanics that seem goofy to me and a little bit
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, goofy. That's good word.
Just it's definitely different. But I don't know. Just I don't have time to mess around with all these games. I just want to play what I want to play, and I'm happy. Every once in a while, I'll try something new, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But next, I'm not sure. This is. That's the way it is. But some people love it. They're into it. That's fine. I think Nick likes it. It's got a nifty campaign system and all that. Squirrel Hermits. Gonna be playing it. So I don't want to be too negative about a game. There's folks out there that are, wow, this might be their entry to the hobby. They might love it.
And I will say no more.
Yeah, you never know. opinionated lot. Us wargamers, right? We really are. Because he gets so passionate about what we do. And I know ours is very passionate about his hobby. I mean, it's easy to see how folks get very defensive when somebody comes around and says, "Oh, your game sucks." It's terrible. It's not realistic. Ooh, those are fighting words once you start using the term realism.
Yeah. With toy soldiers.
Yeah. Oh, brother. I've said this story many times. I've had a lot of personal experiences with folks that just really, literally attacked me because of my interest in the hobby. Might not be what theirs is. But there's one story, but yeah, I think I've shared it too, but I remember seeing a long time ago during the convention scene, I remember a young kid. He must have been maybe, I don't know, he could have been 7 to 11. He's a young kid.
Mm-hmm.
There at the convention with his dad. They were watching World War II battles going on, and there was a couple tables that were all Flames of War. I don't know if it was part of their tournament or a historical thing. I don't think it was tournament. I think they were doing a recreation of some battle. I don't remember. And there's like 7 or 8 guys around there having a good time. And this little kid was sitting there watching the battle, and I'm watching too. He was sitting there watching the battle. I don't know where his dad was, but he'd make an appearance in a second. But he was watching this battle. He was excited. He was joking around and asking questions, really getting into this Flames of War game. All of a sudden, this killed me. All of a sudden, here comes, I assume to be his dad, who was, I don't know if he was playing another game or what, but he literally came up to the kid, pulled him away and said, "No, you don't want to be playing with that. That's make-believe games. That's Flames of War. That's not a real representation." I'm paraphrasing here, of World War II.
Yeah.
He didn't want his kid looking at this game because it wasn't realistic. Boy, that changed me. That was like, really? And ever since then, I've been very mindful of what I say to people or how I criticize people's games. I try not to, honestly. Because that could be somebody's entry into the hobby. That could be somebody's life in their hobby. I'm not going to sit there and shatter it for them. You know, it's just a freaking game. But yeah. That's one story I have. I won't share the others, but yeah. I got Byron there. I think I was just talking to Byron last night. Byron and Rosemary. What do you think about that, Ars? Have you ever seen anything like that? Especially if a little kid was involved, getting into the hobby and shattered.
I have to think, but
Pipes.
yeah, I think that if kid is interested in something else than computer these days, it's great. I don't mind if he plays Black Powder or any other bad games if he plays them on tabletop, not on the computer. That should be good thing. He's interested in something like that.
Okay, Byron says, I was the asshole at the table. I pulled the kid away. Funny. I was on the Two Fat Lardies Yahoo discussion group. Remember those back in the day? Right around when Chain of Command was coming out. But I was on there. I loved Richard. I loved him. He was great. I still do. But we were talking World War II games, and I got talking about, I play Flames of War. And I was kind of, being an apologist for Flames of War. That's what I felt like. And we were talking about point systems, because at the time, Chain of Command was in playtest, and they were talking about, do we add a point system, or what do we do? Richard was trying to navigate a system to create armies for those new to the hobby. Basically what you have now in Chain of Command.
Mhm.
But I mentioned my Flames of War interest and how I was, points aren't that bad. They're useful to us. And all of a sudden, I got piled on by a number of guys in the Two Fat Lardies group, and they got nasty. They were really putting me down because how dare you come in here playing Flames of War, a child's game. We play historical, realistic games here. And this guy went on and on. It was so bad that Richard himself had to step in. And me and him were talking about this. About several guys that were actually, crashing down on me over this idea that I played something other than, whatever. Flames of War, basically. And that left a really bad taste in my mouth. Like, what is happening in this hobby? Well, there's people like this. And this happened quite a while ago. But that's another story. And that was a big deal. Quite profound for me. Had an effect on me. Yikes. Gotta watch out for those lardies over there. Not the guys themselves, but the fans. Like, really? Give me a second. I gotta step away. Byron says, Flames of War is dried poo. So you can at least pick it up without getting getting a whiff of the smell. Terrible, Byron. I thought you were a fan. You speak so negatively of my beautiful game called Flames of War. Now he's putting down bolt action. Byron's going to be today's asshole. That's what he's going to do. He's going to be the asshole in the chat today, right? Pulling little kids away from tables.
Bolt action. The Warhammer 40k with World War II miniatures, yeah? I won't contest the title of being an asshole, but
I know
it's getting late.
I know.
It's getting late. I just have to finish my horse and go to sleep.
Oh,
next time.
I love Flames of War miniatures. Bolt action's fun. And version 2, Flames of War. I never played version 2. I got the rule books. I might give it a whirl. Got the core rule book anyway. I think I got some of the army books. I'm probably going to play version 3 again.
Okay. 6 horses, 95% done.
Nice. Well done. That's what we call progress. Like bolt action is something I want to play because I never played that scale of World War II combat, that command level for 1. So, bolt action and chain of command really interest me. I like the game mechanics. They seem like they'd be fun for me. All right? But I know it's got its short sides and its downsides, especially in the realistic department. But that's okay. I'm not after something that's going to simulate realistically these battles. I mean, it's a fair representation of what it would be like. In some regards, it's horrible. In other ways, it's pretty good. Good fun. So I'm going to play it. That's my view
I
on
remember. Great.
And
I
if...
just...
Go ahead.
I remember what creates my opinion about bolt action was when I spoke with one of my friends. I think it was first edition of bolt action. And he said to me that he is going to play to create an army, a British army with Highlander units, because Highlanders have special rule that when they charge to hand combat, you cannot shoot at them.
Oh, no.
And I thought, what? Why? Because everyone is lying down on the trench laughing because some guys in skirts are running at them. Why they cannot shoot at them? Because they have ferocious charge or something like that. And I decided, well, in that case, it's not a game for me.
Yep, there you go. There you go.
And one recommendation before I go for World War II skirmish and the same level as bolt action is Assault Platoon.
Yes, I heard about it. I know all about it.
I think I sent you the PDFs of this.
That was one of the very first World War II games I looked at years ago, but I've lost the PDFs to them. So if you did send them, that's awesome.
If not, I will send it
You will.
to you because I have all of them. And this is a game that came out a couple of months before Bolt Action.
Mm-hmm.
There was an older game called Operation Squad.
Yep.
Really cool, but small scale, like 12 guys per side. And I remember I had some very fun games with Operation Squad, like Assault on a Building, some kind of tavern where there were Germans inside and American paratroopers charging inside. Mm-hmm. Germans inside and paratroopers outside. So yeah, very, very fun game. And the same guys created Assault Platoon, which was for larger scale, like Platoon and Company level games. And it's really fun. We based our club rules on Assault Platoon.
Yep, I remember.
Okay, and with that, I think I will say good night to everyone.
All right, there you go. There's ours.
Because it's quite late, and I have to get up early to work.
All right, ours.
Thanks, Fritz, for listening to my rambling.
No problem. I'm like the bartender.
Yeah.
That's great, ours. I'll see you again tomorrow or whenever you're going to be on. I will be on tomorrow, I think. If not, it's every other day. But I appreciate you being in here.
Okay.
Great
I
conversation
will
as
try.
always.
I will try.
All right, my friend. Toodaloos.
Toodaloos. Take care. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Toodaloos, toodaloos, toodaloos. There he goes. Da 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 da. Do do. Do 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 do. Oh, here's what we need. Lancers and Lewis guns. How about Vampire the Masquerade? V20, version 20. How about that, Byron? How about that? Want to play some Vampire the Masquerade? Bring in Rosemary? I've been looking for an excuse to play that for a long time. For a long time. I know all about this cyberpunk stuff. But what about vampires? Oh, and it's a goodie to be sure. What do you say, Byron? What do you say, Byron? Throw it at Rosemary. See what she thinks. See what she thinks. She was... Boy, I can't talk. See what she thinks. I'm trying to find some good role-playing games for us. Something new and different. Something new and different. What do you think, Byron? I don't think I'm a fan of the new version of the game for reasons I won't go into, but the version 20 looks pretty good. That's the 20th anniversary edition of the game they put out. It's got good Foundry support for sure, too. That's always a bonus. Alves. Take care, Nordic. Little stirring in the pot. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I know all about it. I know all about it. Hollywood historicals. Hey, at the end of the day, it's all make-believe. Come on. Who are we to butt into other people's fun? Right? Knock yourself out. I recognize, we all do, that there are simulationists out there who really go tooth and nail into some of this stuff, and that's great. I do that now and then if I'm really interested in something. But, you know, just got to be mindful of other people. That's all. Oh, this game is terrible. How could you play this? That's an insult to my intelligence. How dare you? Are you kidding me? Come on. Come on. Make believe. Da-da. Oh, I'm gonna need some gray and some light blue. Let me see which ones are done here. I think some of these I'm finished with. This one is done. This one is done. This one is done. Need to do that one and this one and this one, I guess. Yeah, I could use some help. And then the flags are done being touched up. Doodle-doo-doo, doodle-doo-doo-doo. I like to play sci-fi to achieve that fun sensation that I can't really achieve in most historical rule sets. Disconnect from sci-fi. Did you hear what I said? Let me go back up. I'm probably missing chat. Disposable plates and cups. First edition. Disposable heroes. I've heard of that. Curtis, I will play. Is that in reference to Vampire the Masquerade? So yeah, I'll probably be looking for players for that. Anyone interested in playing Vampire the Masquerade? 20th anniversary edition of the rules. V20 as it's known. Vampire the Masquerade. Do a little vampires. I'll be looking for players for that eventually. Just because I've never played it. Where's my gray? Byron, did you take my gray? Oh, no, you didn't. I have it. I've got people coming to me, will you play Deadlands? I got people asking all kinds of games. I don't know what I'm going to be running. That's why I'm throwing that Vampire out there. If that's an option people would like to play, let me know. Another one is Cyberpunk. That's mainly for Byron, you and Rosemary. I want to see what she really likes to play, because she's relatively new to the whole thing. So, I mean, if fantasy don't cut it, because it doesn't for everybody, for whatever reason, I want her to know that there's other things. And you as well. There's other options. At the same time, this allows me to kind of stretch my wings a little bit. I've got 4 campaigns going right now. And they're all fantasy. It's like enough. Well, not campaigns. I won't say they're all campaigns. 2 campaigns. One-shots is the way to go. I'm going to be doing a lot of one-shots. I've got Vaesen. I've got Call of Cthulhu. I've got... These are one-shots. I've got Deadlands with Savage Worlds as a one-shot planned. I've got probably Vampire the Masquerade. Again, I'm poking around for interest in that. Traveler is probably going to wind up becoming a campaign. We'll see. I don't know where I'm going with that. Cyberpunk is an option. I'm throwing that out there as well. Dootsie-doo-dee-doo-doo. For one-shots. Am I forgetting anything? For one-shots. Yeah, one-shot. Maybe I'll focus on doing the one-shots right now. So I could do that. Right away. Of course, I know Byron, and he's in the process of moving, so you're probably not really available to do much at the moment. It's a pretty big deal. Totally understandable. Stop. Alright, that's done. Might be best. Doug says there should be a game centered around Mothman of West Virginia. Could be a Call of Cthulhu. Could do that with Call of Cthulhu, Savage Worlds. Aloha! What are you painting? What's this aloha stuff? What are you, over in Hawaii? What is this going on here? Irate. Squirrel Hermitage makes an appearance once again. I'm going through pictures of the challenge. I'll send what I have so far. Excellent, Squirrel. Hold on, I gotta take care of something. Mythic America can be used for the cryptids. Vasen's a good game, if you've heard of that by Free League. It's kind of a monster hunting type game. The horrors of the world. And you play characters who can see these abominations in the world. You can sense them in some way. And usually these people are gathered together to hunt these creatures down that are causing trouble. Like maybe there's an evil cryptid-like spirit being that's living in a church somewhere. That kind of thing. And the village is being put under this curse. You investigate these things. So it's a really great game. And they have settings for Scandinavia, Sweden to be specific. That's the base setting of the game. But they have alternate settings as well. One is in called Mythic England and Ireland. So if you wanted to set your setting there, you could do that. And hopefully I think they're working on one for North America, where the types of monsters are like what we know about, like skinwalkers and vampires and type of things in America, as you imagine them to be. All set in like the late Victorian era. That's generally the setting of it. And there's been talks about one in Asia, where you're going to have all kinds of Asian-influenced creatures, cryptids, ghosts, and monsters that you can deal with. They're called Vasen. So, it's a great game. If you're a big fan of Free League's Year Zero engine, this is what it uses to run its games. And so Vasen's a big option. If you like that horror thing. Devilry Afoot. That's a miniatures game, of course. The Witchfinder General era type stuff. There's also Call of Cthulhu, which could handle that stuff too. I'm talking about Vaesen. 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 By Free League Games. Free League Publishing. You could look it up. Check it out, Byron. See if you and Rosemary would like that. It's a really good game. I've got it on Foundry too. Really nice graphics. I've been meaning to run it. It's a classic mystery type, horror type of game, like Call of Cthulhu. So it's not heavy in the combat department. I mean, you can engage these things with combat, but it's very risky stuff and all these things. Horror plays a role in it. Your characters could freak out. All kinds of stuff. I think it's really fun. We've yet to play it. We were going to play it at one point, but it didn't happen. She lives on the big island. I left at 8 a.m., and I'm a bit worn out, to be honest with you. There are screaming babies all around me. Only 4 more hours to go, says irate Spartan. Sounds dark. Sounds dark. Gotta get some light bluage. And some dark bluage, I think. I thought I did this one. No, I didn't. Gray is done. So that would make a good one shot. I'm planning on doing that. So yeah, Vaesen is a sure thing, actually. I'm hoping to get Rachel in on that too. We all know and love Rachel from my Pathfinder campaign. You know who I'm talking about, Byron? This one. So yeah, a lot of one-shots planned. Are you painting Bavarians? John thought to himself. I am painting Russian infantry. Flags. You know what I'm working on. I've been working on these for like months. You know what I'm working on. When did I ever mention Bavarians? Must be the late blue. It's throwing them off. Yeah, little throw off. These are flags. I'm just touching them up. If I can get the paint out of this horrible tube. Yes, I remember Rachel. She runs a Pathfinder group. Yeah, she does. She runs a couple. She also runs a board gaming club. I'm going to have to ask her if she's willing to take on some new players like Kyle. Of course, Kyle's taking a break because I have no plans on playing Pathfinder 2. I wonder if she'd bring him in to her campaign so he can play. He loves the game. I'll have to ask her. But yeah, she's running that. She's been running that for years. I'm going to be running Pathfinder 1E. It's just more my cup of tea, to be honest with you. I had a lot of frustration with Pathfinder 2. So much so I wasn't having fun with it, so. I'll run it again eventually, someday. Some one-shots, but I don't think I'll ever run a full-on campaign. Again. I'd rather run something else and actually enjoy myself. I keep telling Kyle and Jesse, Rachel, well, Rachel already does, but I keep telling them, why don't you run something? Why don't you run the game? I don't know. Nobody wants to do it. So. You said light blue. I think 1812 and light blue. I'm thinking Bavarians. Still doing the flag project, I see. Yeah. I think the painting is pretty much done. I just gotta put them on their bases. Be done with this. I think this guy's done. See? Yeah, that's done. This guy's done. This guy... Ugh, almost. I gotta go back with white. Just little touch-ups before I base them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're done. So these go here. Yes. That's it. They're done. Now they're all set for some basing. They've already been sealed. I don't have to seal them again. They just need to be put on the bases, the flags, and the rest of the command. As you can see, this is what the bases look like so far. There's just 15 of them. So they're missing 4 guys in the front rank. 2 of them are flags, and the other 2 are an officer and a musician. So I gotta do 15 of those bases by mounting the rest of them. So once that's done, let them dry. We're gonna spackle to add texture on those 15 bases. Let that dry, then we're gonna give those bases a wash for the sake of the spackle to darken it up. And then I put them with the rest of the collection, where we do one more session. And that one more session is flocking the bases. That's it. Done. Once that's done, done. Let them set. Final seal. Take some video, take some pictures, pack them up, ship them off, and we're moving on.